Hello everybody, thanks for joining us here on The Tube. So, to sum up our series of specials summing up 2014, we'd like to talk about the tech stories that the media ignored or failed to put in context during the last year. So join us for a trip down the hidden path of tech, media, and the reality they failed to cover. Buckle up, it's gonna be a hell of a ride. With me in the studio are the Tube's team, our journalist Shai Ringel and our chief Yaron Tenbrink. Each of you chose 3 different stories that you think should have gotten more of our attention. Shai, we're starting with you.
Hi. Let's start with Google, who we thought is going in a different direction in 2013, and they did the opposite in 2014. We're talking about them selling Motorola that they bought just a year ago, and selling it for a very good price to Lenovo, the Chinese computer manufacturer that also has IBM's laptops. But it was a big surprise, and I don't think it was talked enough, because Google is going to a very interesting place. They bought also they not only sold Motorola, they also bought drone company, and they also bought a lot of robotics.
But help me understand, Shai, we talk about Google all the time, about the important things they do. We didn't talk about it. Maybe it's not that important.
It is kind of important, because we need to understand what Google is thinking about doing for the next 5 years.
Okay.
And when they bought Motorola, we all thought, okay, they're going the Apple way. They want to manufacture their own phones. But apparently they wanted Motorola only for the patents. They didn't want to manufacture phones because they have their own operating system, and they want to produce the next line of products that will revolutionize everything.
What does that mean?
That means that they're thinking robotics. They're thinking about how they can manufacture robots that will, robots.
That's not a big story. It's a hypothetical story. We don't know what's going to happen there.
They bought a lot of robots.
Of robotics, yeah.
Yeah, of robotics.
Motorola had technology to help make future robots. I'm trying to understand the story.
Maybe. They have patents. We don't know what those patents are. Google did buy Nest, which is also a hardware
I think
company.
the story is also that Google is going places we cannot even guess. They're building themselves to be this giant tech company of the future. What Google is now and what Google will be in 10 years is 2 totally different things, and I think we're not putting enough emphasis on that.
A critical emphasis, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want to talk about, Yaron?
I want to talk about, I'm going to surprise you. I want to talk about Edward Snowden.
Who?
He was Man of the Year 2013. Biggest story of the year 2013. 2014 came in, and we just forgot all about it. I mean, we continued to cover some leaks. We continued to cover his existence in Russia. But it stopped when Obama said, I'm going to reform the NSA. And then everybody said, okay, Obama is going to reform the NSA, problem solved. But the Republicans in the Senate and in the Congress blocked the reform. So the reform is not happening. So the reality is that all those horrible, horrible things that Snowden exposed are still going on. And not only they're going on in other countries now, because other countries saw what the NSA was doing and they said, hey, we can do that too. So it's a global crisis now, a global crisis where governments are surveilling their citizens in ways that are really, really, really invasive. The idea of privacy is basically gone, maybe forever.
Yeah, because I think the story was huge in 2013 because everybody understood that this is the new reality. Thinking of changing that reality, I think that's an hologram. It will never happen.
Yeah, maybe you're right, but I think if we don't change this reality, then our children will live in a horrible, horrible world.
Okay, and we're talking about the press and context media. The media doesn't,
The media is actually cooperating with the NSA. The media is actually cooperating with the governments that be, the powers that be, and it's actually helping them make the people forget about this story.
Okay. Lovely.
Yeah.
Shai, what's your story?
Let's stay in security and let's talk about Heartbleed. Heartbleed was the biggest flawed security bug we've seen this year, and it was huge. And suddenly nobody is talking about it in what I've seen in.
Shortly, what was the story?
We have a video to explain everything in Heartbleed.
Okay, so let's see the video.
At the root of Heartbleed is encryption. Think of encryption like a secret language between two people. The internet has a set of protocols for security and encryption commonly known as security sockets layers and its successor, transport layer security. The most common implementation of SSL and TLS is a set of open source tools known as OpenSSL. OpenSSL runs on 66% of the internet. So even though you may not know what it looks like or what it even means, you probably interact with it on a daily basis. So what would happen if OpenSSL had a flaw? What if those secret keys you shared with the server were suddenly accessible by somebody else? And what if this flaw was completely undetectable? That's Heartbleed. It's a vulnerability that's designed in such a way that with enough time and enough energy, lots of information can be accessed by somebody, and you and the server you talk to would have no idea.
Okay, so what are we supposed to talk about?
We're supposed to talk about the fact that there's no real internet security, and every time you give your credit card, there may be a flood going around. This this bug has been there since 2011.
Okay.
That's a long, long time.
But Emma, are we insured?
Yes and no.
No, if someone takes my credit card number from the internet and buys like something, I'm insured, no?
For you, maybe it's not a problem, but there's also. Let's talk about information. There's also personal information, not just credit card, and also it's an economy problem, because we need to think about the fact that money is no longer this physical thing, and we are talking about money going from here to there, and people can steal it. And Heartbleed, the scary part about Heartbleed is that it was a bug that was sitting there for years and nobody knew it. This year also had another bug that was sitting there in Windows XP. It's from 2001 and nobody noticed, and there may be, hackers that use that bug for many, many years to steal personal information. And
You're just freaking me out. What am I supposed to do with this information?
you need to be scared.
Okay, so let's move on while I'm scared. Yaron, what's the next story?
Next story is China. China, this was China's year. Alibaba did its IPO in the States. It's now bigger than eBay. Xiaomi, the smartphone manufacturer, is growing bigger and bigger. It's the biggest startup in the world now. It's just copying Apple's phones and selling them cheap in China. And that's enough to make it the biggest startup in the world. So we're talking about those stories, but we're ignoring the big picture. And the big picture is that when China goes into tech, and China becomes part of the tech world, it dominates it in ways we can't even start to imagine. And we're going to have pretty soon, if things keep going on at this pace, we're going to have a Chinese ruled internet where China is the dominant force, just the same as the US today. This will change everything, because the Chinese, they don't care about net neutrality, they don't care about open internet, they don't care about freedom of speech. So the internet might become a broken thing where China dominates how we use it. That's kind of scary too. Media is ignoring it because of money.
Okay, let's talk about money and bubbles. Might it be a bubble that can explode?
Yeah, the Chinese economy, especially Chinese tech, could be a bubble. And it could collapse like any bubble.
Alibaba.
Like an Alibaba. But, they have the consumer power. They have 1.3, I think, billion people buying stuff. And if 1.3 billion people decide they're going to buy phones from a Chinese manufacturer, that Chinese manufacturer becomes huge.
Yeah, but there's a big gap between this and them ruling the internet as I know it in my own personal computer.
By sheer force, just like Alibaba came in to kick some eBay butt, excuse my French.
It's okay.
Other companies can do the same, hypothetically, but not just hypothetically, because it's happening as we speak. And the fact that China will be a dominant force in the tech world, on the internet especially, should worry people who are, for free speech and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Shai, let's move on to Yahoo.
Yeah, let's talk about things that are much less scarier, which is Marissa Mayer.
Oh, she's cute.
She's cute. She's trying to reinvent Yahoo. We were really happy when she were appointed to lead Yahoo because she did amazing things in Google, but this year it seems to be that she stopped moving Yahoo to the right direction, and we don't know, maybe 2015 will be very different, but for now it seems like Marissa Mayer is not doing her job really good. She tried to make Yahoo into a next Apple. She wanted to go to hardware. She wanted to rule the internet buzz when she bought Tumblr for a huge amount of money. She wanted to go to teens, but it's still not working. It seems like Yahoo is only making a very small profit. That profit comes from the fact that it invested in real good time in Alibaba. So Yahoo is now riding the Alibaba share, but nothing of its own. There's a book that was published a month ago talking about how Marissa Mayer, for now, is failing at Yahoo, which is very good PR for them, very bad PR for them. And we were kind of hoping that Yahoo will be different. It has a lot of money. It has a very good CEO. It has a potential. It has Tumblr, which is, for my buck, is my favorite social media. And that's it.
The thing is, it could compete with Google. I mean, Yahoo is big enough to really give Google a fight, and we need someone to fight Google. It's not good for consumers. It's not good for the internet. That Google is, a sole empire. So the fact that Yahoo is failing to do that is sad, and the fact that it's not talked about enough means we kind of gave up on Yahoo.
Yeah, I gave up years ago. I don't even know what they do. Okay, well, now let's sum up the show with a little bit of Hollywood glam.
Hollywood glam, yeah, that's nice. But Hollywood, is evil. No, seriously, Hollywood this year has been trying desperately to break the internet. The sad thing about it is that they might succeed. I mean, they have a lot of political power, they have a lot of money, and they're pushing to make changes to the way the internet works that will disable illegal downloads or just disable piracy of content. This means that for their very narrow financial interest, they're willing to sacrifice mankind's greatest invention.
Talking about piracy, because
we're also talking about piracy. What they want, basically, is to push internet providers into kind of a different kind of internet where each and every download you do is supervised, and if you try to download illegal content, you just can't. That means change to the infrastructure of the internet in ways that will really break it. It will make it slower.
But they're trying to fight piracy for like 2 decades already.
That's true.
They ain't succeeding.
No, but they're not giving up. And Hollywood had a great year. They're still making a lot of money. It's not like the story with the music industry that just collapsed because of the internet. Hollywood is still very strong. Piracy is not seriously hurting it, or not hurting it at all, because they're making really insane amounts of money, which they're using to influence the way the internet works. Now, Hollywood doesn't know anything about tech. You can see it in any movie that has anything to do with tech, and it's a big story. It's a scary story. The Verge, one of our favorite tech media sources, had a very interesting story about it. I really recommend it. And the scary thing is that because of Hollywood's political power, the chances that they will be able to do it is quite high.
Okay, so let's decide here, the Tubes team, that we are going to talk more also critically more about those things, because why aren't they becoming opening items in shows and news papers, etc.?
That's our fault, because the thing is, media kind of follows its own tail. So one guy says, one media source says, this is the big story today, and everybody goes, oh, this is the big story today. We're going to try not to do that next year.
Okay, well, thank you, Yaron and Shai, for all that frightening information, and thank you. I hope you enjoyed this show. We'll be back with a new show tomorrow. Log on to our Twitter, Tumblr, it's Tube24, and always remember, no one looks crazy when they're having fun. So go crazy, okay? Bye.